For Dallas International Film Festival, this is Joe Huang, and joining me today is...
Robert Hall.
Robert, tell us a little bit about yourself and what are the Streamies?
The Streamies? Oh, you heard about that, huh? Well, I'm a special effects makeup artist. I own a company called Almost Human, and we make disgusting things. Most recently, we did The Crazies. I also did a lot of television. I did Buffy, Angel, the new Terminator show, a lot of movies, but I'm also a filmmaker. And so they asked me to come down and talk about the state of future makeup effects and creature effects in an increasingly digital world. The Streamies are, I guess, the internet equivalent of the Emmys, and we took home a few of them the other night, and we're up for another one on Sunday for Robert Englund, my main cast member of Fear Clinic, which is a FearNet web series. A horror web series. So I guess things are moving towards the internet. I didn't know that. I just found out.
And so if people log on to FearNet, how should they find you?
It's really simple. FearNet is a big old website, and you just go to FearNet and click on shows and look for Fear Clinic, and you'll see Robert Englund. And you can watch all 5 episodes, and you can watch them back to back. It's pretty neat. I mean, I've never really, up until we did the show, I didn't really realize there was content made exclusively for the web, or at least quality content. I mean, everybody knows that kids kick themselves on the balls on YouTube, and people watch those types of things. But you never really knew that there was actually. I didn't know that there was scripted, dramatic or fun content like that. And so it was cool to be involved in something like that, because we really took it like we were doing an independent or a low budget movie, and tried to put a lot of production value into the cinematography and of course the effects because of my company, and got a great cast, Robert Englund and Danielle Harris from Halloween, and Kane Hodder who plays Jason. So I have Freddy, Jason, and the Halloween heroine all in the same little show. So that was my little nod for the horror fans.
And what excites you about participating in the Dallas International Film Festival panel?
Not only just do I get to see really passionate creativity from other filmmakers, which always inspires me, and I'm always happy to see. You always see better films here than you do going to the multiplex, in my opinion. Not only because of that, I definitely am looking forward, enjoying talking about the state of effects, because there's certainly a big backlash in computer-generated effects, and even things with like Avatar, which one of the panelists is from Avatar. So I think they've got a good cross-section of people, from everyone that can talk about really extensive, large, over-the-top, effects-laden projects like Avatar. And then you've got Doug Jones in the middle, who I've done creature effects on for Quarantine. And then you've got me, who could talk about filmmaking side of it, and I have a digital effects company and a practical effects company. So I think that excites me, just being able to sort of talk about how that all fits together now, and sort of figure out, maybe give some people some insight, maybe give some other filmmakers some insight as to how to do things cheaply, or just wait and get Avatar money. Whatever.
Whichever comes first.
Whichever comes first.
And how are you enjoying the city of Dallas so far?
I always love Dallas. I try to come here. Lloyd Cryer from Texas Frightmare brings me out a few times, here and there, and I always enjoy being here and have way too much fun here. And and by way too much fun, I mean I need my coffee because I drank too much wine last night. Saw too many cool movies and met too many cool people. So I always have a great time here, honestly. I mean, I grew up in the South, so it's very much similar to where I grew up, and I'm always very comfortable here.
How did you get your start in this industry?
I got from 9 years old. I knew that I wanted to make monsters and scare people, and so I was reading Fangoria magazine, and making my brother's face with Play-Doh and clay, and scaring the neighborhood kids. And so I was doing that my whole life, pretty much. And at 18 years old, it was a little movie that came through Alabama where I was living, which was called Body Snatchers. It was Abel Ferrara's Body Snatchers, and I went down and sort of crashed the set, literally, and just said, I make monsters, I live here, can I work on the movie? And they hired me. And so that was my first project, and then I moved to LA the next year, like less than $100 in my pocket, and just kept hitting the ground. And I started working for Roger Corman in my early 20s, and I did all his movies, and that's where I started my company, Almost Human. And then now I'm doing slightly bigger movies than that, which is good. Actually have movies with a budget. Sorry, Roger.
Wow, good job. Congratulations.
Yeah.
So during the panel, I'm sure someone's going to ask you for advice for aspiring filmmakers in your genre.
Yeah.
What are some things that you would highlight?
Well, in my genre, I mean, especially, I don't solely do horror. I mean, my first movie is called Lightning Bug, which is actually the story of what I just told you, which is the story of my life. It's a drama for horror fans, but I do, have a fondness for horror. So if that's my genre, if that's what you're talking about. I mean, the cool thing about horror movies usually is that you don't always have to have a big name cast. They're relatively inexpensive to make. You're always going to find someone like me 10 or 15 years ago who's got, you know, a little garage shop who can make cool stuff for not a lot of money. So if you get decent special effects in there, you don't have to have big names. And horror movies have always proven to be very reliable in that. So that's why you see a lot of independent horror. Of course, there's a lot of bad stuff too. But if someone has a good idea and a good vision, you can make really great horror movie for not a lot of money.
I've often heard for independent films it helps to have a recognizable brand name actor, but from what I'm hearing, it sounds like in the horror genre, it's the effects itself rather than the actors.
It really it depends. I mean, look, it always helps to have someone recognizable in any movie you do. I remember my first film, Lightning Bug, when I was talking about, I had Laura Prepon, the star of that '70s show. I had Brett Harrison, who's now the star of that show Reaper, and I had a pretty awesome cast. You know, Kevin Gage played Waingro in Heat, and like all these great people. And I was trying to sell it, and they're like, "Wait, it's not a horror movie, and you do effects? Like, I don't understand. Like, who's in it?" And that was always the first question. Was like, "Who's in it?" And so that is when you're going to try to sell a movie to a distributor, that's their first question. So it always helps to have a really good cast, or at least you can go, you know, so and so the lead on that show. Oh, okay, great, I know who that is. So that's always going to help you, but it's not always a deal, you know, breaker, especially in the digital revolution where people are making money with making movies with prosumer cameras and getting out there and making really quality looking stuff. It's not always a deal breaker anymore. And also those films that don't have the bigger names, don't have a higher nut overhead, you know, that you've spent on it, you can sell them cheaper. So, you know, it's moving a little bit away from that.
Gotcha. And Robert, for our late viewers tuning in, would you please reintroduce yourself and
Sure.
tell them that we are at the Dallas International Film Festival?
We are at the Dallas International Film Festival. I'm Robert Hall. I make scary stuff with Almost Human, and I also make movies.
Robert, congratulations on your nominations.
Appreciate it.
All the best, and thank you for being here.
Thank you.